What's up, everybody? Nerdity Absurdity here, and today we're taking a look at the Spider-Man and Spinerette 2-pack from Hasbro Marvel Legends. Nerdity Absurdity, what are you doing? I thought you said that this line was dead. Well, hang on to your shorts. I know that I said the line was dead after the disastrous, amazing fantasy Spider-Man over here, but I had pre-ordered this. So I already bought it. They already had my money. So yeah, I got this pack, and my thoughts on it might actually surprise you, both about Spider-Man and Spinneret. So let's get into it. As you can see here, they both have a nice collection of accessories. Spider-Man and Spinneret come with the accessories you see here. You also get alternate heads, which is something I said I wanted for Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man and did not get. So there's another point in its favor. So let's take a look at these heads right quick. There's your Mary Jane head. Here's the thing. I like Mary Jane. I like Mary Jane and Spider-Man. They're one of my favorite superhero couples there. So it's always nice to have an extra head option for Mary Jane. Should compare this to that other Mary Jane head. See how that looks. But this head is very nice. It's very nice to have this option here. I like it. And as for the Peter Parker head, yeah, that's a nice Peter head. I love that. I love the kind of asymmetrical. I love that he's got the cocky little smirk there. There's maybe a prettier Peter Parker. Maybe he's a little bit older. I know they're like supposed to be married or something for the Renew Your Vows storyline. I'm not familiar with that storyline. But yeah, I like this version of Peter. I like this. It's got a little bit of the witty Spider-Man, always quipping at the bad guys energy going on there. It's a nice sculpt. Always a fan of a nice asymmetrical sculpt. I love that smirk there. These are some nice heads. I dig these heads. They're very nice. They're very pretty. It's nice having that option. Whoop. Come back here, Spinneret. And then if we look at the regular heads, I like these too. That's really nice. This Spinneret head is cool here. I think the mask is cool. Like I like having masked superheroes. The hair all done up. I mean, it's nice that you get different hair options here. You got the little I want to say curly cues coming down the side. I don't really know what that's called. You got the hair also up in a bun, and it's a good look. It's also different. You get one closed mouth and then one mouth with a toothy smile. So you are getting a good range of options here. And as for the Spider-Man head, let's take a look at him. You know the thing that I'm liking about this figure right off the bat? I wonder if you can guess it. There's no ugly white dot in the middle of his head. There's no QC issue there. So that's nice. It's nice that the figure meets the bare minimum standard of acceptableness. But no, this is a nice head. They're nice, really big eyes. I mean, people are going to debate, I guess, forever where these are like Todd McFarlane eyes or something else. I mean, I know they're not Ditko eyes, that's for sure. They're all nice and big. But yeah, no, nice big eyes, very kind of nice, expressive, comic booky Spider-Man face. And let's take a look first at Spinneret. Let's take a look at the rest of her body, the rest of the sculpt here. So, paint is pretty nice on this figure. I like these web lines. They're very nice. They're very clear. So they've got a lot of that going on. I like the red and white. Maybe that's just the Canadian in me, but I find that very aesthetically pleasing. It's very striking. At the little cuffs there with the red wedding. This isn't Game of Thrones. But the red webbing here, and then you have the white webbing here. Wow, these are tongue twistery. You also got it kind of all over the butt, all over there. There's not too much to say about the sculpt there. It's this looks like a standard body buck. I mean, don't quote me on it. I don't think it's like the Moon Knight or anything like this. It might be similar to that. I don't know. It looks similar to the female models that they've done before, except for the fact that, of course, it's pinless tech, which is what all the kids are talking about these days. You got little accents like the cuff around the side. But I don't know. She feels a bit more like muscular. You can see a little bit more musculature there. Also, little things like the cloth rippling. You can see a little bit of that there. A little bit of paint scuff over there. That doesn't bother me too much. I don't know. It's just it's one little thing that I've seen. I haven't seen. There's not like a lot of little scuffs and stuff like that all over it. Yeah, you can see more of the wrinkling there, and that's pretty cool. All over the place. One thing I don't get. Maybe you can tell me what's going on here. I talked about this before, how I wish there was a hole in the back of that, the other figure, the Spider-Man Amazing Fantasy figure, so that you could actually, poke something into him and pose him up on a stand. I don't get what this extra hole there is for. That that confuses me. Maybe it's so that you can have, like, when you have those stands that have kind of a grip, you can poke it in, but they're also different shapes. This is like kind of a hexagon, and this is like kind of a half. Maybe it's so you can pose it with different stands or something like that. I don't really know what that's about, but anyway, yeah. Like the paint, very striking, very clean. I like the design of this figure. Just the overall look, the overall aesthetic. So yeah, she's striking. She really pops on your shelf. So that's really nice. Now let's take a look at the articulation. So the head is doing all kinds of stuff in business for itself. You can see the joint in there. So her head is kind of, it's not loose. At first I thought it was a little bit loose, but it's a bit floaty, I would say. It stays in position, but there's no resistance. It's moving very nice. She's got lots of nice articulation attitude. I like having attitude on my figures, just give them a cocky little smirk. In terms of the up down, it's on a ball here, so she can like break her neck and look all the way up, which is kind of weird if you have her in a front facing kind of thing. You can see kind of all up into her skull there, but that means she can also look down quite a ways, and then you get the same thing, the gap is in the back. So I guess it's really how you're posing her. Like if she's like flying through the air at you somehow, like, I don't know, she's just coming at the camera, maybe she's webbing down or something like that, then maybe that's all right. Maybe that's all right. You get her looking up, kind of. It's nice to have Spider-Man characters that can look up. It would have been, I maybe it's hard to do with this kind of a buck, or I don't know, just kind of the thinner limbs or something with yeah, you can see how floaty that is, like right there. Like, you barely even need two fingers. It floats around all over the place, but it does stay where you put it. It'd be nicer if the neck could move or something like that, having the head move on the thing and basically have the net break. It's a weird design choice, but it does give you posability. It looks weird, but I mean, you people who swear off Revoltech figures because of how weird the joints look will not like that about this figure. I'm okay with it because at least so many of these female figures, you don't get any kind of articulation in the head, and that really, really sucks. But with Spinneret, you're getting a lot. You trade off kind of aesthetic value. I think it could have been designed better, but at least they are giving you articulation. And because that's something we don't get on other female figures, I'll give that a pass. Standard stuff here. You got this ball shoulder thing. Again, you got that tab there. Again, the problem with the pinless tech, no, you don't see a red joint poking through, although you wouldn't with this figure because both joints, if there was pin tech here, it wouldn't really matter because it's all the same color. But I mean, you still do have that red bleed through where you can tell that's a toy, but again, that's in the shoulder. You tuck that away, but if you want to get her arms up in the air like a spider person figure would do, then that might be difficult. But yeah, that's how you get her hands over her head. She's got the bicep, does the 360 there. Double jointed elbow. Nice double jointed elbow there. It's kind of what you'd expect from a Spider-Man, and of course this is in the hand is in a peg there, and it goes up and down, and of course does a 360. Our torso will go back, side to side, a little bit. Again, we get the same kind of gappage that we get similar to other figures. It's not as bad here, I guess, because of the red. On figures where it's pure white over here, like that Storm figure, it's really, really noticeable. Again, it's the kind of thing where it's giving you articulation. Same thing in the back, actually. Actually, it's very noticeable in the back, I'll say that. But yeah, she pops back quite a ways, and she pops forward a little bit. But she can really lean back, so you can get her into some, yeah, ballerina poses or stuff like that. Speaking of ballerina, not that this has anything to do with ballerina, let's take a look at this bit. So yeah, we got drop down there. Actually, it's not drop down. I don't know why I said that, but I mean that's what's going on in the crotch. Got upper thigh caught. Bit of a missed opportunity. I know that's a bit high. I know those are supposed to be shorts, but maybe they should have just painted this red part down to there, and then that would disguise that a little more. It's very noticeable on white. And of course, you got the double jointed knees. She can just about kick herself in the butt. Not quite. Well, can she? No, she can't. Almost, but not quite. And then, the this cuff thing is loose. It goes up and down. You can get it out of the way while you're posing it. She points up, points the toe down, and can she break her ankle? Yeah, she can break her ankle. Nice ankle pivot. Spider-Man here looks pretty good. I don't see any erroneous paint details or anything like that. There's the paint lines are very clean. From what I can see, the web lines look really clean. I'm not noticing anything weird about that, so that's pretty good. I mentioned again how much I like the head sculpt, not just the fact that there's no defect. Web logo looks nice. Colors look nice. Colors pop. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get this figure, actually, because I really like the blue. There are some weird paint things. Not so much on this side. Yeah, there's a weird asymmetry thing going on where you see there, where you can see how if you can fold it back enough, you can see where they stop painting. I guess you can see that too. That's weird. That's not really a paint flaw. That's just kind of a weird paint design thing. It is really weird. Like, look at that. You can see there's blue there where there should be red on the thing. Basically, the logo only looks good on the back if it's in one pose. I think they could have solved this just by making the logo smaller and not going over to the shoulders. I think that would have been easy enough to do. Also, it's really weird that, I talked about how Spinneret's got 2 holes in the back there for posing options, but there's no holes in the back of Spider-Man. Why did they do that? I don't know. That's so weird. It's so useful to just have a peg, because Spider-Man's not that heavy. He's just a regular human-sized dude. Just have a peg in the back for posing flight stand options. Also, this pack should have come with a couple of flight stands. Not even anything elaborate, but I mean, come on. Even the McFarlane toys come with a small little stand. Like every single one of them does. But I mean, a flight stand for a Spider-Man figure. And then their flying characters like Superman will come with an actual flight stand. That's pretty good. I actually like that flight stand. It's a unique design. But yeah, nothing for the Spider-Man figure. So that's a bit of a fail right there in terms of the accessories. But we're talking about the sculpt. Spider-Man is sufficiently ripped. He's still lithe but muscular. He's an older Spider-Man, so he's bulked up a bit. So I mean, his legs are he didn't skip leg day, that's for sure. The arms are a little more slender. I guess the biceps a little bit beefed up, but yeah. And it looks good. And then again, the costume details. You got the fold in the trunks there and stuff. I know we're looking at the Spider-Man butt, but that's a nice detail. Is there any other wrinkling around the side? There might be. I can't really tell if that's supposed to be cloth or muscle. But yeah, it's a good looking buck, and again, you get the pinless tech if you're all about that. So yeah, let's look at the articulation. So he's got the same kind of weird head thing that is going on with Mary Jane. It's that ball. But again, this I think is designed more for posability. It's designed more so that you can have him looking really far up in some extreme, like flying poses and things like that, and just get him really dynamic in from certain angles. Again, if you really dislike that about Revoltech figures, that you can see the toy nature, and there's this hole in the back so that you can get more articulation there. So this will actually bend back. Yeah, because I mean that's a complaint about Spider-Man flying figures, things like that, that they don't look up, or it's hard to get them looking up. So I feel like they were trying to address that here, and the trade-off was the aesthetic. But you get that same thing here. You get these butterflies here. Again, stiff at first, but they loosen up. Same bicep cut, same kind of. Again, these arms are unlike Mary Jane there, who doesn't have the butterfly. You get a little bit of extra articulation there, but it's the same kind of ball with the hinge, and it's the same kind of weird paint thing going on there, which basically means, you know, who cares about the pinless tech thing? Like, the aesthetic is still there. I guess it's more hidden again, but yeah, you do the same trick where you spin it around, and you could get him lifting his arm up over his head. Then you get the bicep cut. We'll do a 360. And then he's got double joints, as a Spider-Man figure should. You know, it's nice to have the arm going back into itself like that. It doesn't go back as far as Mary Jane because it's a beefier arm. But then you get the hand pinning up and down and doing a 360. So here we get the same kind of deal with the torso, where there's gappage front and back. You get the gappage there. Again, I think they were focused more on articulation with this figure. And then you get the ab crunch. It's an extra thing you get, which Mary Jane doesn't have. He ab crunches forward so much, and he will crunch backward like yay. And then from the front, there he is in neutral. There he is looking forward. See the top of his head there. And then back all the way. So yeah, you can get him in some dynamic swinging stuff if that's what you wish. No waist cut that I can see. No waist cut. Which is a missed opportunity. I don't know. Like, it's possible this other articulation does it. You can't really get him bendy or anything like that. Is that a... I was saying no white dots. Look what I just found. Yeah. Oh man, Marvel. What is with you? What is with you, man? These hips I think actually are drop down. Mary Jane's aren't. Or at least not that I want to play with too much. So there is drop down hips here to give you a little bit of articulation. One wants to drop down more than the others. Yep. Yeah, this side is dropping down more. I'm going to check that again with the Mary Jane figure, because no, these hips do not want to move, and I don't want to tug on them too much because I don't want to mess up the figure. But yeah, Spider-Man does have a little bit extra articulation in that he's got the ab crunch and the drop down hips, as you can see there. He's got that going on in the crotch. He's got the upper thigh cut. That'll do a 360. Double jointed legs. Always nice to see. And the toe articulation. Point down that much, point up that much, and then, he's got a toe articulation. And what I like about this toe is it goes up and down. Sometimes they'll only go up. But I mean, with Spider-Man, with a kind of webby, crawly character like this, you'll do both. And then he's got the ankle pivot. He can do a 360 there. Hole in the foot. Very shallow hole, but I guess you could peg him in if he came with a stand or anything like that. But, of course, he does not. Okay, so you can't talk about the final opinion on these figures without talking about Marvel business practices. I mean, yeah, to get it out of the way, you know, it's the windowless packaging, and it sucks. I've said before how it's consumer arms friendly, QC issue, can't see it. Yeah, it sucks. So there's that. But there's also the fact that this is bundled as a 2-pack. Not a lot of people wanted Spinneret. You see a lot of people flipping her. I'm okay. Again, I like Mary Jane. I like Mary Jane and Spider-Man together, so I'm going to keep the figure. I'm going to pose them up together. But yeah, a lot of people didn't want that and would rather pay, you know, half this cost, or, you know, ideally less, for these figures. So this cost about $92 something cents. And, you know, it's about $46 a figure. I don't really mind that for a couple of reasons. One is because I've paid that before for a figure I really wanted. Apocalypse Wolverine was about that. I think he might have been 40. Um, the what do you call it? I got the Love Triangle 3 pack, and all three of those figures together when you broke down the price. This was, aftermarket, so it was quite expensive, but it was around that per figure as well. So I don't mind doing that as much because I know the price of this figure, people are going to flip him and he's going to skyrocket. And I was online a little while ago looking at, I don't have a Spider-Man in this color scheme really at this scale. I don't really have this kind of quintessential, just the darker red and darker blue, with the classic logo and classic eyes and things like that. Very, very just typical Spider-Man. I don't have that. And to get like the retro or that darker color pizza Spider-Man, I have the white card, but I don't have that other pizza Spider-Man. Those figures are going for like $90, $120 on their own on the aftermarket right now. So, I mean, part of this is just a market thing, but I would rather pay, $46 for this guy now and get these two both together. Again, they're both pretty good figures, so that's not too bad. I'd rather do that now than pay an arm and a leg later. You know what? Maybe you want to just spend your money instead of on a 2 pack like this for, retail price, commercially available figures. Maybe you want to save that money and spend it on something high end Spider-Man. Who's that in the back? Oh, Mayfex Spider-Man? Maybe you want to spend your money on something like that. Mayfex Spectacular Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, I could see doing that. I'm kind of leaning more in that direction lately. I never thought I'd go kind of more high-end $100 figures and things like that, but I like quality in my figures. I do. And you're getting expensive figures in the at retail, but you're not getting necessarily the quality. I haven't opened this up yet, but I might as well show it. It's kind of previews for other things. Okay, so here is we'll get you two out of the way for now. That's an SH Figuarts Joker. He was $50. Again, $46. And SH Figuarts, that's quality. I can't speak specifically to this figure, but you can tell it's premium in your hand. I was able to get it for $50. Aftermarket, but still, $50. SH Figuarts can go for like $120. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. So knowing that there's places where you can get a more high-end figure that feels like a more high-end figure in your hand for about the price of a commercially available Hasbro Marvel Legend, that's insane. These are insane times we're living in where this is the price we're looking at. I really think Marvel Legends needs to come down in price. But yeah, it's a bit steep. Again, I don't mind it so much just because as a collector, I know what I'm going to end up having to pay on the aftermarket when these hit the aftermarket. And just kind of knowing that in mind, and the fact that I don't have this quintessential look Spider-Man is a reason enough for me to keep it, to justify it. If you can't justify spending out almost $100, and there's a figure in that packet which you're probably not gonna like. Again, this is personal taste. I like her. I'm glad I have her, but you may not. You are getting a good figure if you do get it. I think it is a quality figure, even if you're not the biggest fan of it. So I will say that. But if if you don't want to spend the money for a figure you're not really interested in, and you're forced to in getting this bundle together, I'd say don't do it. If you have one of those other Spider-Mans, the retro Spider-Man or that earlier pizza Spider-Man that has a similar color scheme, if you already have a Spider-Man that's enough like this and you have no interest in Spinneret, I would say give this a pass. For me, it's a little easier because I was looking for something that kind of fit this niche, just my quintessential 6-inch in this color scheme, this design. You're getting the extra Peter head. It does enough for me where I feel justified in this. And again, I do like Mary Jane. I do like having Mary Jane and Spider-Man together and Peter together. You got the different heads, the different options. I think both characters have a lot of personality in the attitude articulation, and of course the head sculpts themselves. So for me, yeah, I think this is worth it. I give it a thumbs up, but with those really big caveats. Here we have our Renew Your Vows Spider-Man posed up with the white retro carded Pizza Spider-Man, and of course the Spider-Man Amazing Ripoff Fantasy Spider-Man. Yeah, you can kind of see how they stack up. I gotta say, yeah, it's kind of nice, all the different color schemes with the Spider-Man. Like that's just kind of cool. The kind of dark going to light, but this kind of is quintessential in here. I gotta say though, Pizza Spidey, he looks and feels really nice. I was noticing them when I got him in hand. Oh, you hear that? Just that is so satisfying to pose this figure like this. And he has the waist cut, which this guy doesn't have, things like that. No drop down hips, but he's a more slender Spider-Man, but he looks really nice and clean. It's a different paint scheme. It's obviously it's not as deep a red or a blue. It's lighter, but it is cool. The thing people may complain about again are those pins, but again, what you look under the armpit, that's the same problem with the color. I don't he is really fun to have in hand. He feels really nice. He feels really like clicky. There's a bit of paint rub and stuff, but a lot of that's me just playing with the figure. So I can't like again, I've been using him a bunch, so I can't say it's an out of the package thing. And I did get this figure used. That's the thing. But then look at that. That's how I got him on the stand. There's that hole in the back where you can plug him into a stand. I had him flying with my Avengers team. He's part of my Avengers team. Again, there's more rub there, but again, it's an older figure. So what do you want to do? But yeah, he is really nice. He feels so nice in hand. I love that. You hear that sound. That is so cool. And you don't have the same weird gappage thing in the neck. He still looks up pretty far and back. He can crunch forward. He can crunch back. I'm not reviewing this figure, but it is a nice figure, and he's double jointed all over the place. Pins aren't a problem in this side. It's only on the arms where they're noticeable. No toe pivot like this guy has, but yeah, man. Like here's the thing. Honestly, getting this guy in hand again, if you can find him for like $50, $60, maybe that's worth not paying the extra money for Spinneret. Again, I've seen him going some places for like 90 to or Pizza Spider-Man and other kind of Pizza Spider-Man figures. There's of course that darker color for like 90 to $120 Canadian, around about there. It's not uncommon to see on Facebook Marketplace or whatever the figure going for that price. So yeah, like that might be a cheaper option for you than you're not buying a figure you don't want if you don't want the Spinneret. But yeah, he is such a nice looking figure. Like just look at them. Oh, like even the light blue, you can appreciate things like the musculature here. Again, it's kind of cool that he's a more slender Spider-Man. He feels really good in hand. I remember seeing him at a convention. I already had him, but I saw the figure and I started playing with it. I was like, oh, I already have this figure, but he's so much fun to play with. I almost got another one of him right there at the convention. He was loose, but oh well. Yeah, it looks like you're kind of knocking this other guy down a little bit. But yeah, this Spider-Man is very kind of quintessential colors. I really like him. Personally, I like having both. You'll notice the Ditko one, the not Ditko. What am I? Well, it is Ditko, but the first appearance doesn't pop as much as the others. It is cool just having those different color schemes. I don't have him out the package, but let's take a look at the Mafex right here. Just as a point of compare. Just, yeah, kind of a bigger Spider-Man, very different eyes, but it's that shiny metallic blue. So if you're getting a lot of colors of Spider-Man, and here we have Spinneret posed up next to the Gwen Stacy figure, but of course wearing the Mary Jane head. I just wanted to look at these two. Obviously, darker colors on this one. These colors are brighter, more vibrant, cartoony on Spinneret. But let's take a look at these heads right close too, because that's just a really kind of interesting thing. Yeah, very, very, very different aesthetically. Like I almost was wondering if this was going to be the same sculpt. They're very different sculpt. Uh, this one actually looks almost more retro, kind of more like the first of it. Face it, Tiger, you hit the jackpot. Just I'm thinking around the eyes. She's got kind of more cat-like eyes. Uh, Interesting. This is technically a Gwen Stacy figure with a swappable Mary Jane head because I'm getting Emma Stone vibes from this one. I don't know if that's just me, but yeah, you get a look there. Yeah, kinda. You get that? But yeah, no, I like this. You got the darker color. The hair is more splayed out there. It's more like flowy stuff like that. Where this head, obviously, this is kind of like a softer, gentler kind of look to Mary Jane. I feel like because there's lighter colors, like the hair pops, the blue eyes. I think those are blue. Might be a little bit colorblind, but they are popping more for me. Yeah, than the other figure was. Um, yeah, you can tell one's a little bit taller than the other, but also you can see I'm having problems posing up this girl here, and that's because of her shoes. Yeah, you can see that would give her some problems walking these heels. She can be hard to get standing in a standing pose. I kind of have her leaning forward on one leg there. Yeah, so she may come off as a bit shorter than the gal over here, but Spinneret is taller. And here we are with the head swap. We have the Gwen Stacy pack, the Mary Jane head on Spinneret, and the Spinneret head on Mary Jane. I gotta say, they kind of work. They kind of work. I like having the contrast of colors. Again, this red hair and this face will pop on whatever body you put it on. So the fact that the colors on this body are a bit more muted don't really matter. You can see I have to have her on a stand there because she doesn't want to stand today on her own. And this one, same thing. You have the colors popping on the costume, with the fact that the skin is a little bit paler and the red hair is darker there. I think that works. I think that works well for both of these. So you're getting options for your Mary Jane. As for Spider-Man and Spinneret, I'd have to say that my verdict for them would be a yes. I like this 2-pack. I'm glad I have it. And if they check all the boxes for you, then you should go get them too. Okay, that's all from me for now. Thanks, everybody. Remember, be kind, and I'll see you next time.